And as soon as you accept the gift and benefit from the gift by accepting it and appreciating it, then you don't have to repeat it.
Amen.
Okay? Now, if you're in the entrancement, in the hypnotic state of declaring things as painful and going into the resistance of the state of pain, which you have created through your judgment of the what is, right? What ensues is lifetimes and lifetimes of your illusionary reality repeating points of resistance until you can lovingly allow them to be released by being in the presence of them without judgment. This is in the Adam and Eve story. It is the knowledge of good and evil which created all of the problems. What that story is saying is, if you don't judge, then you don't create suffering. If you accept all things as if they are gifts, all things then become gifts. And you no longer have to repeat a succession of experiences of resistance to enjoy your state of non-resistance, which is what you truly are. And your soul has decided to wake up fully and express itself fully through you as a vehicle here and now. That's why all of this is happening. So those ancient stories that you've had glimpses of, fleeting memories and so forth, and even in the full memory of those, not necessarily events that happen here, in some other quadrant of creation, let's say, right? That's been buried deep within your unconsciousness or your unwillingness to be fully conscious about. That's up for you to release. That's up for you to go through and remember lovingly and enthusiastically without resistance. There's nothing that you have to do with your conscious mind except notice. Okay? And allow all of you to let that come up and be released through you. It'll happen today. Okay? And when you notice that you're resisting, enthusiastically be aware of that and allow that to be present until it dissolves. It's like the part of you that segments and separates has that judgment about what's happened. And because you're a creative being, you have created a succession of experiences of that unacceptable situation and circumstance, right, to this point. And all the time that you've been doing that, the ego has been in control of the process. What we're talking about is the you that's beyond the ego, right? Dissolving the control of the ego, right? It's like, it's interesting to be in a body and think that because you're having an experience in a body, that spirit is somehow separate from you, when in reality, it is spirit that creates the illusion of the body. It's all about this coming to the realization of wholeness as the reality, as opposed to the illusion of separation and the ensuing resistance to the presence of that illusion that continues to create pain and more separation. And we're relating to the rest of you that is holding that is beyond duality. What you're experiencing, or what's open to you today, is to be that isness, that divine identity that holds the experience of duality kind of like as a form of entertainment. You get it? That's what it is. It's joyous play. And because you're ready to get on to something else now, like experiences that more deeply reflect your unlimitedness, you're having this discussion about letting this go.
And closing the gap.
Closing the gap, that's it. Your identity is enthusiasm or joy. Okay? When you sink into that and allow the ego to be in the presence of that, okay, then the ego will stop its struggle because it's only struggling out of fear. When you are being enthusiasm, there is no fear because there's no cause or reason for fear. When you're all that is, what is there to be afraid of? The ego is a fear response construct. That's all it is. And there's a certain kind of innocence in that if you think about it. Right? If you're blind and someone gives you lenses, you're very thankful. And all the ego is a set of lenses. That's all it is. And it felt that, the being felt that it needed to do that in encountering the reality of the dream reality that it had created as this series of illusions. There are certain people in the room, in this room, who get things very quickly compared to other people. Some of you have had problems with that. You just get stuff, right? You don't need for people to finish their sentences because you got it. Who are those people? Raise your hand. Right? You're the troublemakers.
Because we know we're on the other side already.
Right.
We see the whole picture.
Okay? And soul, right, in its truest expression, has already gotten it, except for it needs to integrate the getting of it to appreciate and fully use having gotten it. So it's up at this level, which is theoretical and quick, fast moving and high frequency and all of that. And do you ever see a tornado?
Yeah.
Right? So the tornado is like this funnel that widens at the top. Soul is the widening at the top, right? The real dense activity, right, is taking place on the ground,
Yes.
right? It's not a tornado, or it doesn't have an effect until it touches the ground. Your 3D self is that part of soul that touches the ground. And that's what defines the expression of the soul. Do you get that?
Where the action is.
That's where the action is. What we're saying to you guys, the big announcement is your soul is over its ambivalence about an aspect of itself fully being here. That's why this big download of the soul infusion coming in through you now that we've been talking about for this last year. It's done with that now. Why is it done with that? Because of all of the experience that it has collected through you and the other yous that you've been, that were manifestations of its resistance to be fully present in 3D. So it sees that that doesn't work to satisfy it in its need to express and evolve. So this is this big moment. So we went to the Apple store 2 days ago to look at the iPad. Right? So the guy shows us, the things that it does, and he does this, and we go, ooh. And he says, oh, this is a Google map of the store, and we go, ooh. Yeah. And this is the Galleria, and we go, ooh, right? Then he says, you can download books in this. We go, okay. So he pulls up this book, right? And he said, you can turn the pages like this, right? And it just flips the pages, right? Or you can turn the pages like this, and then it turns into what looks like a book, and the pages actually turning, right? And then he says, if you don't have your glasses, you can go like this, and then the print gets like this big, right? And it just does all of these things. Same material, same content. And he was in charge, as he was working this little gizmo, of the context in which the content was held. Right? So sometimes you can just go through the layers. Other times you can just go to the center of it, if that's your choice in that given moment, as long as you're clearly in the intent of getting at the essence of it. Okay? So all of that is available to you now. 5 years ago it was not available. Right? 5 years ago it was not available. And now it is for you. And it's because of this acceleration. And everyone around you is feeling it. There are now more people on the planet than there have ever been on the planet prior to now. All at the same time. It's close to 7 billion now. Yes. You add up all of those times before in this 10,000 year period, of all of the human beings that have come before, right? Had their little lives, had done their things, and built castles, and all of that kind of stuff. It's about 7 billion of them over that 10,000 year period. Now, all those beings, right? Or that entire population is on the planet right now going, what if you guys and other people like you, because it's not just you realize.
No, we're the only.
You're the only. There's probably maybe 50 or 60 million of you on the planet right now, just in Western culture. Yeah. But this is in a pool of close to 7 billion souls, okay?
That's 1 out of every 10 Facebook pages.
There you go. Thank you. What if you're the forerunner of something unforeseen until now? What if all the things that have applied to generations before you and your folks and your parents and the actuary tables of the insurance companies and all of that about the possibilities and the limitations of human experience, what if none of that applies to you? And what if deep within yourself, in yourself, for many years you've had an inkling of that, and you didn't dare tell anyone because it just would have flown in the face of their reality, of their density. But what if that really is the truth? What if that's your secret? What if all of you have like this kind of Mona Lisa kind of smile going on inside? What if that's the truth? And what if you embracing this and letting go of your ambivalence and embracing your enthusiasm as a soul triggers something that has never happened on this planet before? What if that's the case? What if all of you are Mr. Big? What if all of you are who knew? What if all of you are something new? Truly and really. And how would you know? How would you know? You wouldn't know until you went through it and got to the other side of going through it into the next expression.
Like the Barbara Marx Hubbard's.
That's it. That's what
Ideas.
Homo Spiritus is.